If it is or if it ain't, it's gonna come out.
Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is January the 26th, 2024, and today the topic is Oodles of Noodles. Happy Friday. Yes, happy Friday, everybody. I hope that you guys had a wonderful Thursday. Mine was just fine. Yep, mine was good overall. Y'all know that yesterday was Thursday, and so it was work day and everything like that. My work these days seems like I mean, it was always a bunch of meetings, but I definitely know there's like two more meetings that I have these days that I didn't have before when it comes to the gig and whatnot. So that's interesting. To be in way more meetings and whatnot. Let's be praying for my co director situation or whatever. Not that anything's going bad. It's just that to be honest with y'all, I think I told y'all this before, but I get the impression that the gentleman is overwhelmed by all the different information. You know what I mean? And I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because the lady that was before him seemed to be doing a lot of things. Um, so I understand, and he's just coming in. He's been like kind of like a crash course for this month, and then next month, which is pretty much just next week, we're gonna be hitting the ground running uh on our own, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. And so I'm excited because it's an exciting time. I mean, obviously I'm gonna be able to do more things as well as he's in a new position. He's bringing a lot of new ideas and things to the table as well. So I mean, it's an exciting thing, but at the same time it's like, let's get some order about ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Let's get, do things decent in order and things like that. And so hopefully I can be there to help and assist in that capacity. Because I do think, even though I understand the whole concept of an organized mess and things like that, but when it comes to, I guess, business, or when it comes to like even maybe this platform and things like that, I think I got a good knack of like making sure things are in order. You know what I'm saying? And so hopefully again, as I step up more and into leadership and different things like that, and into assisting him and things of that nature, we can get a better understanding and get a more cohesive, working relationship. So that's one thing in regards to yesterday. There's more things to tell y'all. Actually, I got some good news. I got some good news that I was kind of waiting on. I did get confirmation that your girl can start back hosting the Wednesday night situations. So that's exciting. That means Madam Miraculous is coming back to Mountain West Church. I'm thinking about perhaps trying to up that in some ways. And I'm thinking about doing it every week. I was just doing it bi-weekly before, or at least last season, but I'm thinking about doing it every week. And I'm also thinking about opening up to the public. So these are things that just came into my heart and mind this morning, that I should probably try to present and see if the church is okay with. But if so, that means that there's opportunities for, friends that may want to come and experience the Miracle Lab, bring their kid, things of that nature. Then you guys can bring them to the church and experience that and stuff like that. So that's the prayer, that's the idea. We're gonna see what the Lord do. There's other things of significance, but let's go ahead and get into this conversation, oodles of noodles, because I know y'all probably heard that, and you probably think, oh, your girl just probably hungry or something like that, and I would definitely say that no, the inspiration wasn't inspired by hunger or nothing, but um the Lord started to show me, I guess it meant way more than I was thinking in the originally. So basically, long story short, this morning I woke up at the sound of my alarm and everything like that. All of that stuff was normal. Um, listened to the prayer meditation, it was good. There were some things that was resonating. Um, but I don't really hardly remember it right now. Um, around that same time, my husband kind of was getting up as well, and so I was telling him some of my ideas. And well, because here's the problem. Here's the thing that happened that I forgot to tell y'all. So he woke me up like sometime last night. I can't remember exactly what time it was. It might have been like around 11. I can't remember. But he woke me up to ask me something. And then the thing about me is if you wake me up, then I'm up. You know what I'm saying? Usually. So yeah, so I was pretty much up when my alarm went off for 4. Like I was up between that time of 11 or whatever to then. So then by the time I listened to the prayer meditation and all of that, basically um me and him started talking about like the ideas that I was having about the miracle lab and all of that type of stuff. And so at some point, I just pretty much felt led to go back to sleep, to be honest with y'all. And I know that's going to sound weird or whatever the case may be, but I just kind of felt led to just clear my mind again, right? So as I was clearing my mind and whatnot, here comes, I guess, visions. Or, I mean, I don't know if they're dreams, but definitely visions, right? So as you guys can hear, Mr. NJ is here. He's done some rude things this morning, so we're gonna have a conversation. But is there? Do you want to at least say good morning, sir? I see you here. You don't have to. Good morning. All right, you don't have to interrupt the juice. I'm recording, okay? You need to go wash your face. All right. Sorry, y'all gotta hear me do mom stuff. But anyway, yeah. So basically, like I said, when I woke back up, or excuse me, when I went to sleep, I was getting these. Maybe you want to say dreams, but I think they were more so like visions, and they were like pieces of different things. I can't remember everything right now because it just was so many different type of symbols and stuff. Where it was like I feel like I was seeing faces and weird things, and I guess things that people probably would say was a trippy experience. Like I never done any of that stuff like ayahuasca or none of those type of things to where I'm seeing something. But it kind of felt, I mean, what I would imagine that it would feel like seeing a bunch of different type of stuff and things like that. Go ahead, NJ. Yeah, sure. Please close the door as well. My goodness, y'all. See. Anyway, so basically I was getting all these different type of little snippets of visions and whatnot, and um there was some things that I made a note of, but I can't even remember going back to looking at them. And so then once I did that, at some point I woke up and the phrase oodles of noodles came into my heart and mind. And it resonated with me because I felt like that's what my mind felt like a bunch of noodles just squirreled up, like a good ramen would be, or a good spaghetti, or whatever the case may be. The noodles are just jumbled up, and that's how I felt like those visions were. They just was kind of jumbled up images, jumbled up little pieces of something of significance, I believe, but at the same time, not even clear enough for me to really understand or be able to look it up or nothing like that, like one of my regular dreams would be. I feel like my regular dreams are more like movies or something, you know what I'm saying? Like they play out, but this morning it was like flashes of little bits of things. And I was like, Lord, what is this? And I do believe at some point I did, just praying like, Lord, what are you saying? And, and things of that nature. And so I don't know if I can't remember if that was the exact moment where Oodles of Noodles came into my heart and mind, but at some point during this experience, that's what came into my heart and mind. And then as I went deeper, once I woke back up and things like that, like once I went deeper and like went to definitions and stuff like that, things really started to resonate enough for me to be able to share here right now on the juice. So let's go ahead and talk about the definition of oodles, y'all. The definition of oodles say a very great number of amount or something of something. So it might have been or amount, but just in case, a very great number or amount of something. So oodles, right? Now I did look up noodles, of course, right? Because I mean, it's part of the inspiration, right? It's a part of the title. But well, it just was the regular definition of noodles, like, oh, something made from flour, talked about the different shapes it could be in, stuff like that, pasta, whatever. Um, so that didn't resonate with me to write it down, and everything. Y'all can look up that definition if you need to know what noodles are, right? But at some point, I think I was in the middle of writing verses or whatever it was, or getting ready to, or I think it was when I was at gotquestions.org and I was looking at that article and stuff like that. At some point, I felt led to look up the slang definition of noodles, y'all. And when I did that, well, let me just read it. So, the first definition of noodles in the slang term or in slang way, it says a stupid person, simpleton. I said, oh, Lord, wait a minute. Wait. So, I'm like, a great amount of stupid people? Like, oh, Lord. If I go back to my oodles of noodles, right? And then the second definition said head or noggin was also another way that in the slang people use noodle. So with that being said, I know that's a whole thing all by itself because there's plenty of verses and whatnot where the Bible, refers to, simpletons and things of that nature, and maybe even us, right? And then here's the interesting thing too. Like I think at some point between last night and this morning, I kind of pondered the question or the idea, like, Lord, why did you make us? Especially those that you knew weren't going to believe and things of that nature. Like, and then ultimately the answer that came into my heart and mind was like, because He wanted to. Because I mean, when you're the creator, you can do what you want to do. You create what you want to create, right? Like as an artist, there's no real reason sometimes why you make your painting or why you make your sculpture or whatever the case may be. It's just ultimately because you wanted to do it, right? I think we can understand that in those terms, but for some reason it's like we don't tend to understand that when it comes to God, right? The creator of all things. We like to question why you do this and why you do that. I know again, they like to put the narratives out here that God has made a mistake, all right, or God is doing something wrong, or things of that nature. And and I think the truth is that again, with us, I believe that the truth is with us, not really being even able to understand, again, God and His wisdom and things of that nature. That it bothers us to not know, right? I think deep within, but at the same time, I think the wisdom comes from understanding that, hey, we're never going to know and understand. Maybe when we're in His presence, maybe, but right now during this, I guess I don't know if you want to think of it as a grand experiment or whatever the case may be. Right here on earth in the life that we are currently living, according to my understanding of reading the Bible, it seems like we're never going to understand the mind of God, the wisdom of God, and things of that nature. We have to learn to trust, right, Him and His will and His way. And so, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into these verses for the juice this morning. So, the first verse I felt led to write down. Again, none of these verses are old. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean, or none of these verses are new. I meant to say. I think you guys have heard it over and over and over again, but I guess, again, they go with this conversation really well. So here we go. Proverbs 3, 5-6. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths. Again, this is what it's asking us to do. We may not understand why. Like, again, there's plenty of things that's like that for me or that I've experienced, right? Like I said, I didn't understand why He allowed me to do the movie that I did a few years ago. When the doors opened and all that type of stuff, I'm like, Lord, I mean, listen, I done auditioned for all kinds of things over the 10 plus years of being an actor. And the first time I really get the opportunity to be a lead in the movie is something that's a tawdry. You know what I mean? It's something that's not, I guess, looked at highly, at least by moral people, right? and And it bothered me a little bit in the beginning because I was like, well, Lord, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? And why did the door open? Because I know what closed doors look like. You had no problem closing no door. You know what I mean? So why didn't this one get closed or whatever the case may be? But again, I started to get wisdom and whatnot once it was released and once I started to meet the people I was meeting and connect with the organizations that I was connecting with and all those different things. It started to make more sense, right, down the line. But when I was first presented with everything, I'm like, Lord, none of this ain't making sense. Look, this is like the oodles of noodles, a bunch of things I don't understand, and things of that nature. Look, a bunch of pulp, right? And again, so there's a lot of things that can be in our life that happens in that way. Like again, I didn't understand. Um, I guess I did kind of understand when they presented it to me. But when I first like pitched my name for the church or whatever, and it was a totally different position and all the different type of stuff, but it was my time, right? It wasn't the time. I guess it wasn't the leadership. It wasn't none of the things that I guess God needed for it to be. But He felt like now is the time, right, for everything to be happening and stuff like that. So yeah, so all of this, I try to give my practical examples of again the things that has happened in my life for us to, I guess, hopefully get some understanding for you to be able to do that for you in your life. Because when we see this thing about not like leaning on our own understanding and things of that nature and acknowledging Him in all our ways, like this is how we challenge ourselves to do that, even in those moments when we don't understand. Lord, I trust you. Lord, I know that you got everything under control and things of that nature. And so yeah, like that first verse. Let's go ahead and keep going. So then we got Isaiah 55, 8 through 9. It says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the excuse me, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. I mean, again, another verse that is pretty much putting us in our place, letting us know that, hey, again, we're never going to probably fully understand our ways and not His ways. That's the amazing thing as well. Like, when you listen to some of these conversations that people have online and stuff like that, there's people that are just so bold and haughty to be like, I know better than God, and things of that nature. And I get it, with our earthly wisdom, we might do think that, you know what I'm saying? Because this is all we can understand. But we don't see the big picture, right? We don't see the quote unquote ripple effect. We don't see the things that God sees and knows. And so again, we may question, well, why did God make me this way, or why did He do this, or why did He do that, or whatever the case may be. And we read the Bible, and we have that type of, I guess, quote unquote, energy for the Bible and stuff like that. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with asking questions. I think God wants us to ask questions. But at the same time, we got to put some respect on His name as the, most high, at the end of the day. And I think the respect is to understand that, hey, I may have all the questions, but if it's your will to let me know the answers, then cool. If it's not your will to let me know the answers, then maybe you'll let me know when I'm in your presence. But even if you don't let me know, then I'm still going to have to trust that you're in control. You're who you say you are, and I'm not who I think I am, or whatever the case may be. But again, that comes, I guess, with time and wisdom and sacrifice of yourself, your own life, laying down your ideas, and things of that nature. Like I was talking about the other day, I must decrease so God must increase, or so God can increase in me, and through me, and things like that. And so anyway, I mean, let's keep going. We got some more verses here. Like I said, those two verses are very familiar. Matter of fact, I think this verse right here is another familiar one as well. It's 1 Corinthians 1 and 25. It says, for the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. I mean, same thing that the last verse was saying. Like, your ways are not my ways, your thoughts not my thoughts. My weaknesses is still stronger than yours, and the things that you feel like are foolish, which is my foolishness, right? And this is the Lord speaking here. Then it's still wiser than yours. Again, we were talking about yesterday, from the mouths of babes, or out of the mouths of babes. Like, of course, my son did a beautiful job yesterday, but today he's not doing as great. But the thing is, God spoke through him yesterday, I believe, through his dream and things like that. And that might be foolishness to a lot of people. That might not make no sense at all. Like for anybody that actually received something from what he was saying yesterday, and what God had inspired me to say because of the things that he was saying, then you get it, right? You get that God, the foolish things that we feel, right, are still wiser than the things that we again feel. So I mean, these are just things to think about. But there was another verse that I came across this morning that was really resonated with me when I ended up writing it down, and it was First Corinthians 2:14. No, my apologies. It was not that. It was Ecclesiastes 11:5. It says, "As you do not know the way the spirit comes to the bones in the womb of a woman with child, so you do not know the work of God, who makes everything." So, friends, again, like he makes everything, and his wisdom is greater than ours. Yeah, we still don't understand fully. Like we might be able to break down things now that the people of the Bible wasn't able to break down. Like we know about sperm, and we know about the egg, and we know about those different things now. But even with that, we still don't know how the spirit enters the child. You know what I mean? Like again, when we understand that we spirit, I believe that we do, because we understand that when we pass away, the body is still here, but the person is no longer here. So therefore, that to me, that's a clear example that there's a spirit within us. That is, the true person is the spirit within, and things of that nature. And so, again, with that stuff being said, I mean, I hope that you guys are encouraged and inspired by this conversation about oodles and noodles. I apologize for all the distractions, but don't worry, I'm going to be handling that as a mom real soon. But I hope that you guys were able to push through and was able to receive the things that the Lord was sharing through me about this morning, because that's ultimately the juice. The Bible verse of today is First Samuel 3:10. It says, "And the Lord came and stood and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel answered, Speak, for thy servant heareth." Friends, I hope that you guys enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day. And I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow if the Lord's will. Just a reminder, check out that Go Deeper section, y'all, because there's a few articles there that hopefully will be encouraging and inspiring to you. Like that button and alrighty. And then I also want to just remind you guys that today is Friday. So we have a new episode of the GSL Talk Show coming out, and it's with Pastor Kelly Dupuy, or it might be Dupay. I can't remember right now, but I said it right on the show. I try to make sure I say people's names right on the show. But anyway, obviously he's a husband, father, grandfather, he's a police chaplain, an author, and even a marriage coach. The marriage coach ministry is called Turn It Up Marriage Coaching. So yeah, man, we're gonna learn more about him tonight on the GSL Talk Show. So I hope that you guys tune in at 7 p.m. But yeah, I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us, because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.